I usually start my speech by bowing to the audience. And because there are 2 floors of you, when I bow, I have to bow to 2 floors at once. And because of that, I'm 50% more efficient. So one way to look at Buddhism is that Buddhism is a love story. You start with loving yourself, taking care of yourself, trying to become a better person. And then you love the emptiness of self. And then through that, transcending the selfness. And finally, you learn to love all sentient beings. So I'm told that about half of you are not Buddhist. So for those of you who are not Buddhist, don't worry. Buddhism is really just that love story. Right? Loving self, loving emptiness, and loving all sentient beings. And the entire path of practice is to become better and better at all these 3. There's one other thing that runs through the entire love story. And that one thing is joy. The best thing for me about practicing Buddhism is that the entire practice is a life of joyfulness. So today I have about an hour, and I will share with you some of the practices to increase joy. The good news is that these practices that I'm going to share with you, they're not just good for day-to-day life. They bring you all the way to nirvana. So when it comes to the practice of joy, there are 3 major steps. And the steps are easing, inclining, and uplifting. So it's okay, what does that mean? So, shall we start with a practice? Okay, this practice is very easy. So easy even I can do. Okay, this is what I want you to do. I like you, when I say go, I like you to bring your total but gentle attention to one in-breath and one out-breath. Okay, ready? Now, in, out. And thank you for your attention. So my friends, for those of you who have never meditated in your life, congratulations, you just done one meditation. You can go home and tell your friends, well, I learned meditation. Yeah, I did a whole session. And it sounds like I'm joking. However, you notice something. You notice that in that one breath, you already feel a bit better. In a single breath, already, your mind is calmer, your body is calmer, and you may feel a little bit more joyful. So I joke about it, but actually one breath is actually a real practice. And so when you sit for an hour, it's actually just that. It's actually just a lot of one breath. That is all. Okay, so now that you're all meditators, let's do a longer practice. This time we do 4 breaths. Okay, I will tell you what to do, and then we do together, okay? And I want you to move your hands with me so they can easy to remember. Okay, in your first breath, I like you to gather attention. So what does gather attention mean? It's basically what you just did earlier, which is to bring total but gentle attention on one breath. So that's gathering attention. For those of you familiar with Buddhist terminology, there's a word called samadhi. And samadhi literally means to gather. So that is the practice of samadhi. And then after that, the second practice, a second breath, allow you to bring attention to the body. So just notice the body, okay? And then on the third breath, allow you to calm down the body. And then on the fourth breath, I like you to bring up joy. And for those of you who have problem bringing up joy, just bring a very gentle smile to your face. First breath, gather attention. Notice body. Calm body. Bring up joy. And thank you for your attention. My friends, do you notice that as you're doing this practice, you're happier already? So there's a very important, there are a couple of very important lessons here. So the first practice we did earlier, we just bring attention to the breath, and you feel happier already. It comes with a very important lesson, which is that happiness is not something you have to create. It is something that's already there. Which is why when you bring attention to, when you calm the mind with one breath, what you're doing is removing obstructions to joy. And once you remove the obstructions, you find that the joy is in there, in the mind, in the heart already. And so this is a very important Son lesson, which is the entirety of the Son practice is about letting go. Let go of all the obstructions and your happiness will be there waiting for you. So this is a very important lesson. Another important lesson is that in the 4 breath practice, you notice that by deploying your attention, you can bring about a joyful mind. So some of you might wonder, these 4 breaths, where did that come from? Did I make this up? I did not make this up. For those of you familiar with the early Buddhist sutras, this is from the Anapanasati Sutta. This is something the Buddha taught. He taught 16 steps. And I collapsed the first 5 steps into what we just did. The next thing you notice from doing the exercise is that calmness, the gatheredness of attention creates its own momentum. Right? You notice that the more stable your attention is, the more joy you get from this practice. Also, when your mind is calm, your body is also calm, you're at ease. And then when you're at ease, what happens? When you're at ease, joy naturally arises. So this is the first step, easing into joy. By learning practices to put your body and mind at ease, you bring access to joy. So that's one. Second is inclining. So what does that mean? So inclining here, the English word inclining represents the slope of a mountain. When a mountain is sloped in a certain way, and then when water flows, what happens? It flows naturally in that direction. You don't have to do anything because it just naturally follows the inclination. In the same way, mental experiences follow the inclination of the mind. For example, if you are inclined towards anger, so every small thing makes you angry. However, if you are inclined towards happiness, then every small thing makes you happy. So here's the good news. The good news is that you can change the inclination of mind. So how do you incline the mind towards joy? The way to do that is to familiarize the mind with joy. When the mind becomes familiar with joy, then it naturally inclines towards that. Okay, how do we do that? Paying attention. For example, those of you, you can do this practice with me right now if you want. If you are thirsty and you need water, I like you to do this. I like to drink, and then when you drink, you feel a little bit of joy because now you're less thirsty. And I like to bring your full attention to the experience of joy. Did you notice that when you bring attention to something joyful, it doubles the joy? So, friends, this is homework for all of you. When you go home today, if there's a joyful activity, spend 1 second bringing a full attention to the joy. For example, you like to shower, just 1 second. Okay. Later on at dinner, first bite. Just full attention to the first bite. Just do that. Very easy. You will notice 2 things about this practice. You will notice that it takes no time, right? Because you're eating anyway, right? It takes no extra time. So for those of you who say, I don't have time to practice, this is it. This is the practice. Doesn't take any time. And it doubles your happiness. So why? Because usually if something nice, right, like the food you like, you're eating and you're talking, or you're like thinking of other things, right? Or you're looking at your phone. I mean, it's enjoyable, sure. However, if you bring your full attention to this, even more enjoyable. So you double your happiness for no cost at all. So my friends, if you only remember one thing today, remember to do this. Double happiness, no cost. And if you do this a lot, the mind becomes familiar with joy. The word familiar in English, the English familiar is related to the word family. So if you do this a lot, the mind becomes family with joy. And that's how they're together all the time. Okay? So that's one way to incline the mind. I want to teach you another practice. So this is going to be a thinking exercise. I like you to choose an object that makes you happy. However, not just any object. I want you specifically to choose something that something good that you did, or something good about yourself. Example of something good that you did, I just donated money yesterday, for example. Yeah, I helped somebody across the street. Or something good about myself. I'm a good person. I'm a kind person. I'm generous. Okay, so just choose one thing. Something you did that was good, or something about yourself that's good. So when I say go, just think that thought for 5 seconds. Okay, go. Okay? Do you notice that again when you're thinking you're happier? So again, this is something the Buddha taught. The Buddha taught to always reflect on your goodness that you did, your virtues, and your generosity. By the way, this is also very useful for advanced meditators. So let me share a story with you, a personal story. So there was a time in my life where I was experiencing a lot of pain. And I was already an experienced meditator at the time. So I know all the practices, but I could not do them. So every time I meditate, I just feel pain. So my teacher reminded me of this practice. Specifically, my teacher said, you give a lot of money to charity, just remember that. It's easy. And so I did that. I started my meditation, I think, I was generous. And then I started my meditation. And then it worked. So so this is for everybody, even experienced meditators. For those of you who are Buddhists, other objects you can use. The Buddha, the Dharma, Sangha. For example, if you think, I'm so lucky I get to learn the Dharma. I'm so happy. I'm supported by all these Sunims and my friends. I'm so happy. So this will support you. So you can use any of these objects and they'll support your practice. So that is second part, right? Which is inclining. Third practice, uplifting. So again, what does that mean? So again, let's do a practice, 10 seconds. For 10 seconds, allow you to bring to mind two people in this room. Don't look at them, just secretly. And then so when I say go, right, you will secretly think to yourself, I wish for that person to be happy. And then I wish for that person to be happy. So don't like. So just secretly think. Sounds good? Your 10 seconds begins now. Thank you. My friends, do you notice that when you are thinking, I wish for that person to be happy, you yourself become happier? You might notice that the wish for others to be happy is intrinsically rewarding. So my friends, again, this takes how long? It takes no time. Why? Because you're just walking around and then you're just passing by somebody and just think, I wish for this person to be happy. And continue walking. Takes no time. Takes no time and already you're happier. So in Buddhism, this practice is called loving kindness. Yeah, in Pali, it's called metta. And this is one of the most powerful secrets for happiness. Then you might ask, how powerful is this? So let me share a story. So one time I was giving this talk on the Monday night. So we did this exercise. So I tell the audience, I say, okay, tomorrow is Tuesday. Right? Tuesday to go to work, right? I say, okay, tomorrow in the office, this is what you do. Every hour, on the hour, like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, every hour, secretly wish for two people in the office to be happy. Yeah, so I mean, they're just working and then the person next to the next cubicle just say, I wish for this person to be happy. Somebody walk past, I wish for that guy to be happy. Then go back to work, nothing changed. So 8 hours of work, right? This practice took 10 seconds. So 80 seconds of total practice. So I just sent them off. I said, do it tomorrow. So that was Monday night. Wednesday morning, I received an email from a total stranger. So this person said, I hate my job. I hate coming to work every single day. But I came to your talk on Monday. I did the exercise on Tuesday. And Tuesday was my happiest day in 7 years. Happiest day in 7 years. How much meditation practice did that take? 80 seconds. So my friends, that is the power of loving kindness. And then again, if you do this a lot, it becomes a habit. Habit means what? Means that every person you see, you just think, I wish for this guy to be happy. Yeah, you don't even take effort because it's just a habit, right? Just think. And then what happens? Habit becomes personality. Personality becomes character. Character becomes you. So through this very simple thinking practice, you change into a different person. Yeah, you change into a kind person. Just with this simple 5-second practice at a time. So those are the 3 steps. I hope everybody remembers what they are. Easing, inclining, and uplifting. Okay? And anybody remembers all the practices we did today? Okay, I'll go through them. Okay, I won't embarrass you. Okay, one practice we did was a one breath practice. Yeah, one in breath, one out breath, that's all. You can do this anytime, right? You're waiting in line for something. Yeah, you're walking. Just one breath. Okay, for those of you working, this is very useful before you start the meeting, especially if you have to see the boss. Okay, before you see the boss. Okay, then hey boss. Okay, so that was one breath practice. For those of you who are game, I would encourage you to do longer than one breath. So 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Yeah. Remember that an hour of practice is simply a lot of one breath, that's all. So the other practice that we did was the 4 breath practice. Okay, let's do this together. The hand signal together. Gather attention, notice body, calm body, bring up joy. Okay, so this is the 4 breath practice. This is the simplest version of this. You don't have to do it in this way. If you want to, you can do a lot of gathering for 10 minutes and then do the rest of it if you want, for example. So again, practice of Buddhism is a lot of fun. Right? So it's just experiment and see what happens. So the next practice, the one I asked everybody to remember, if you only remember one thing, which was bringing your total attention to something joyful for 1 second. First bite of food, first moment of the shower. And if you have kids, the first moment you see your kids and hold their hand. Yeah, just bring your full attention to that. I guarantee you this is a really powerful practice. Okay, and then the next practice was having an object that brings you joy. Specifically, something good about yourself or something good that you did. Or for Buddhists, Buddha, Dharma, or Sangha. And I think for our Christian friends, even Jesus. If that brings you joy, use that as an object. So, okay, let me see. And then the last practice that we did was loving kindness, right? Yeah, which is wishing for people to be happy. Just randomly, even don't even have to look, and just I wish for that guy to be happy. Yeah, and he doesn't even know that you're doing that. Let me see, a few minutes. I want to tell a story. So imagine doing this. So imagine if you go to a meeting room in a meeting and you do this to everybody. So just now you did this practice from a giver's point of view, right? Imagine what it's like to be on the receiving end. So the first is that you don't really know because it's a secret practice. However, over time you kind of notice if every time that person looks at you, he wishes for you to be happy. There's something that you just know. And the reason you know is because we have mirror neurons in our brain that mirrors other people. So unconsciously, you mirror the emotion. So imagine being on the receiving end. Then imagine you are the boss. Imagine you're the boss and you do this to all your people all the time. And the people would love you and they don't even know why. Yeah. And then it creates a very powerful team because now you take care of each other. And you're more effective as a boss. Okay, so those are the practices. Okay, homework. Those of you who are working, I'd like you to do the loving kindness practice. Okay, so every hour on the hour, randomly, secretly, wish for 2 people to be happy. Okay, that's homework 1. Homework 2, what I said earlier, first bite of food, first shower, everything, just bring your full attention to one moment of joy. And that's the homework. And I hope this talk has been helpful to you. And I hope all of you will live a joyful life. Thank you.